The work of Lim Mu Hui, The Changing Look of Bukit Purmei, is very interesting in the sense that the once unfinished work was completed with an insertion of a colophon. Unlike his other work, The Changing Look of Bedok, where hue leveling in the foreground is set against a backdrop of modern high-rise apartments, we do not witness a process of change here. In fact, the work sheds little, if not no hint, as to the future of Bukit Purmei. It is only after reading the colophon, inserted almost 50 years after the unfinished work was put aside, and visiting the area itself, that we can picture for ourselves the immense changes that have taken place. The completed work is therefore not just a simple depiction of the area half a century ago or at present, but a tool for us to understand the extent of change, stretching through an extended period and its effects on the identity of the landscape. Change and development, a recurring theme in a number of Lim's works, can be attributed to the social-political conditions of the 1960s to the 1980s, where Lim was most active. In an effort to modernize the urban center of the new but impoverished country, the state embarked on a rapid and large-scale destruction program. Slums, squatters, and even cemeteries were cleared to make way for new uses, particularly public housing. In The Changing Look of Bukit Purmei, we are invited to understand the landscape's history stretching across a longue durée, rather than as simply colonial or national accounts. The landscape should therefore be viewed in the light of an ongoing process, built upon previous processes. The work further challenges one to contemplate the changes that had already happened before Lim started on his work, and perhaps imagine what changes that might be 50 years from today. The Church of St. Teresa, depicted in the unfinished work and mentioned in the colophon, should be viewed as an important link between past and present, a silent witness to the transformation of this beautiful hill. A look through church archives revealed that the church once stood on land that was part of the Malay settlement depicted in Lim's work. Also, the nearby Carmelite monastery and the original Catholic settlement stood on what used to be an old private cemetery acquired by the church in 1934. Apparently, the clearance of squatters and cemeteries is not exclusive to the post-independent period. Bukit Purmei must have been very much of a contested landscape then, locating an imposing Romano-Byzantine-style church on what used to be part of the Malay settlement, and the establishment of the Carmelite monastery and Catholic settlement must have been seen as a rather strange import to the existing residents. Today, surrounded by flats, the church still seems out of place. In Lim's work, the church and port takes its place in the background, and the focus is on the Malay settlement. As mentioned earlier, there is little, if not no hint as to the future of Bukit Purmei. However, in retrospect, the port, a harbinger of modernity, and the church, a Western import, in the background somehow foreshadows the area's impending fate. As the landscape evolves, so will its identity. Additionally, it takes on a different meaning for different people from different times. Today, except for the Tanah Kubur Kerajaan Johor, there exists no other indication that Bukit Purmei was once a Malay settlement. The ethnic integration policy of the Housing and Development Board has turned the area into a multi-ethnic neighborhood. As the unplanned settlement has given way to tall-style flats that reflect the ethos of the state, so has the kampong spirit. Squatters who return to Bukit Purmei may feel that a part of their lives have been lost to the destruction of their previous homes and not feel a sense of rootedness anywhere. Like the Malay settlement, Lim's kampong at Silat Road also fell victim to the wrecker's ball. His work, a recorded view from his home, should therefore be seen as one that has a special place in his heart, where on realization in 2005 that the area had been totally transformed, he remarked it in his colophon, "How it makes one sigh." It can be considered a kind of personal journal for himself, and one that serves to remind him of his roots. On the other hand, the area is of special significance to me because I completed my primary education at De La Salle School, situated on Bukit Purmei. I count myself lucky that the old school building still stands, where walking through the void decks of the surrounding flats remind me of the days I used to play catching with my friends. In that sense, the identity of the landscape to me is made up of my personal memories and experiences in the area, supported by the still surviving surroundings. Lastly, in his colophon, Lim mentioned Silat Road as originally called Gui Zhi Shan. According to Mr. Liu Mo Seng, who grew up in the same kampong as Lim, there was a hill near the Silat Road Sikh temple that people thought looked like a turtle, and hence the name. Other informal names of places in the vicinity include Si Karting and Si Pai Po. Such informal names transmitted orally from one generation to the other lend the area a sense of history and identity. Sadly, not many people today know of such names, and their use is generally limited to the older generation.